Let's go over Arya Essentials. Now here you see my MT4 platform. I've decided to look at the GBP USD asset in H1. To launch Arya Essentials, simply click and drag over to the chart. Here we have your expert parameters, and we have 4 simple steps to go through. Step 1 is to choose the trade direction. When we look at positions mode, it's either buy, sell or visual mode. Now we recommend visual mode because it means that you'll have both the buy and sell buttons as well as the performance box like this. Step 2 is your money management. First we're going to go over risk per trade. You can choose between 0.125% or very conservative, all the way up to 2%, which is very aggressive. If you're a beginner, we recommend you start between 0.25% and 0.75%. The risk per trade is the amount of capital you would like to allocate to your trade. For example, if you choose very conservative or 0.125%, then Arya will take a trade in which 0.125% of your capital will be invested. In other words, you'll be risking 0.125% of your capital. Now, if you have £5,000 and you go for very conservative, you'll be risking £6.25 on your GBP USD trade. Arya will also automatically calculate the trade's level of commitment based on your stop loss. Next we come on to max loss daily. This is the maximum amount that you can lose of your account balance in one day. Now this applies to all assets combined where Arya is activated. It's permanently at 2% and you cannot change it. Arya will stop trading when you've lost 2% of your capital in one day. In a similar way, max profit daily is the set amount that you can choose for the maximum profit you can make in one day. The reason why this parameter exists is to prevent overtrading. You can choose between none and 5%. Again, it applies to all assets combined where Arya is activated. Arya will take into account all of that day's closed positions to determine if trading can continue or not. Arya will stop trading and secure the capital when I have gained 0.5% of my account balance in one day. Consecutive loss is the set maximum consecutive losses per asset that I can have in one day. I can choose from 1 consecutive loss all the way up to none, which is unlimited. If I choose 1 consecutive loss, Arya will stop trading when 1 loss has been realized. Similarly, if I choose 3, Arya will stop trading when 3 consecutive losses have been realized. In exactly the same way, consecutive wins is a set maximum consecutive wins per asset that I can have in one day, which is cumulative. You can choose from 1 all the way up to none, which is unlimited. If I choose 1, Arya will stop trading the asset when 1 win has been realized. And again, if I choose 5, Arya will stop trading after 5 consecutive wins. Then we come on to step 3, which is trade management. The first part of your trade management is the stop loss volatility. You can choose from extra small all the way up to XXXL. The stop loss volatility defines the size of your stop loss based on the market's volatility. This cannot be changed manually. The size is calculated automatically according to the market volatility of the chosen time unit. At the moment, I'm in H1. With all the sizes, the amount you can lose is the same. It's only the amount of time you have to lose that will be longer with, for example, XXXL. Next, we come on to the take profit factor. The profit factor is the amount of gains in relation to the risk of each trade. You can choose 1 all the way up to 10, and Arya will calculate the take profit, or in other words, the exit point. You do this to ensure that your gains versus your losses meet your defined profit factor. Let's take an example with a profit factor of 2. If I risk 0.5% per position with a profit factor of 2, this means that I will risk 0.5% of my capital to gain 1%. If I enter a profit factor of 3, the same logic applies, except that you risk 0.5% of your capital to gain 1.5%. Then we come on to trailing mode, and this is based on Fractal Plus. In order to position a trailing stop, Arya will identify fractals opposite to the trade direction. Arya will also only take into account fractals that are located in the profit zone. This is the area between the entry point and the take profit. If you decide to buy, then Arya will position the trailing stop on the last confirmed inverse fractal available in your profit zone. You can choose between 3 different trading speeds: slow, fast or swing. Or you can choose the trailing mode break-even. Here, Arya can secure the trade by raising the stop loss 1% above or below, this depends on your trade direction, of the market entry point. The break-even will be activated when the trade is 50% of the way from the entry point to the take profit. Or you can decide to have no trailing mode. On to step 4, these are the advanced settings. The first one is the trend filter. When you click on the drop down, you will see all the trend filters available with Arya Essentials. False means no trend filter. You can choose Ichimoku. Arya will be able to buy when it identifies fractals above the Ichimoku cloud and sell when it identifies fractals below the cloud. The Rsi Trend Filter is the relative strength index, and it indicates the current strength or weakness of the market based on the closing prices of recent trading periods. Arya will be able to buy when the RSI value is above 50 and sell when the RSI value is below 50. You can also choose a moving average trend filter. The moving average smooths out price trends and is the average price over a given number of time periods. Arya will be able to buy when it identifies fractals above the moving average and sell when it identifies fractals below the moving average. For example, we're currently in H1. The moving average will take the average price over 50 periods of 1 hour. We then have the pivot point trend filter. Arya will be able to buy when it identifies fractals above the pivot point and sell when it identifies fractals below the pivot point. If you would like a combination of both the pivot point and the moving average, choose dual. Arya will be able to buy or sell when it identifies fractals satisfying both the conditions. So Arya can buy when a fractal is above the pivot point and the moving average, or sell when it identifies a fractal below the pivot point and below the moving average. Level filters. If you choose true, you can define the area in which Arya can trade. This means that Arya will only look for entry points in your defined zone. The level high is your upper limit and the level low is your lower limit. At the moment, we can see that the market is 1.385. I would define my upper limit perhaps at 1.5 and my lower limit perhaps at 1.35. Now Arya will only be able to identify a confirmed fractal between these two levels in order to take my position. Then we come on to the clock filter. Again, you can choose between true and false. When you click true, you are framing your trading time. So Arya will only be able to look for a confirmed fractal during the time that you specify. You can specify in the start time. Define the start and end time of your trading period. These times are dependent on the broker's platform time. Take note that this is the time that you will have to go by, not on the actual time zone that you're in. Perhaps I would like Arya to start at 9 AM and finish at 10 AM. 9 AM is the time that Arya will start assisting you, and after 10, Arya will finish assisting you. Use the display dashboard parameter to show or hide the orange performance box, which sits on top of the chart just here. If you have chosen visual mode and false, you will only see a box with the buy and sell buttons. Show visual dashboard will always be at default. This means your results will be displayed in both percentages and in the currency of your account. If you would like your results to be only displayed in percentages, choose percentages, or if you'd only like to display your results in the currency of your account, click on the corresponding currency of your account. And finally, the instance ID allows you to run multiple trades with Arya Essentials on the same asset. The second trade can only be taken on a second chart when the first trade has secured its break-even. With Arya Essentials, the default number for the first trade is 14. To launch a second trade, simply go to your trade of choice, open a new chart window, drag Arya Essentials onto the chart, and define your settings however you like. However, in Instance ID, for your second trade, you can put 15 and enter the trade. Once the first trade is secured, Arya will automatically launch the second trade. If you'd like to start a third trade, open a third chart in exactly the same way on the same asset and repeat the process, and change the number in Instance ID to 16. However, you do need to note, you cannot input 17 or 42 into Instance ID. These codes are used for Arya Trade Manager and Arya Pro respectively. Once you've defined all of your settings, click OK. Now it's a case of simply defining the trade direction and clicking on Sell or Buy.